welcome back. Road closures and detours and heightened security are set to be the order of the day as the G20 Summit approaches. Authorities have confirmed major disruptions around key roads and areas, with rolling lockdowns expected throughout the week. Motorists and commuters are urged to plan ahead, expected delays and the use of alternative routes and transport where possible. Strict security measures will be put in place to restrict pedestrians' access near summit venues. With world leaders gathering in the city of Johannesburg, the city faces the challenge of balancing security, mobility and public convenience. For more details, we're now joined by the spokesperson of the Johannesburg Metro Police, Xolani Fihla. Xolani, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Talk to us about the planning of the road closures. How were they determined and were they structured in such a way that they do not deeply inconvenience Johannesburg motorists, making it near impossible for them to get to important places like work, school and other institutions?
Thank you so much, Oliver. Good morning to you, and good afternoon to you, and let me also greet the viewers. Yes, with the planning and especially concerning the routes, we had to look and consider areas which will be affected, and this is going to be the greater part of the Gauteng province. I know with yesterday's operations we're focusing mostly on the city of Johannesburg, but heading towards the G20 Leader Summit on the 22nd and on the 23rd, areas that will definitely be affected is the city of Johannesburg, is the city of Tshwane and the city of Xolani. And with the planning that we have put in place is to look in the areas where most of our heads of states or delegates will be staying, and that's at these hotels in the specific areas, and looking at the routes as well for their movement, moving from the hotels and going to the Nasrec Expo Center. So those are the routes that we had to look into, and of course this then does affect not only arterial and urban routes in the city of Johannesburg, but also major national routes and regional routes in the city of Johannesburg, in the city of Tshwane, and also in the city of Xolani.
Yeah, let's talk about the national highways, particularly the N1 and the N12. Both those national highways are at a minimum a 3-lane highway. So are you closing the road entirely, or are you closing lanes on the highway?
With the operations and the movement of the convoys, all the lanes will be closed off on all these national routes. And with the coming summit, which is happening next weekend, it's not only the N1, the M1 or the N12 that will be affected. It's also the R21 and R24 as well in the side of the city of Xolani.
Yeah, I want to put up this graphic of some of the arterial roads that will be closed, such as Jan Smuts, Glenhof, Oxford, and those are really important roads in the Sandton, Rosebank, Ethel, as well as Ilovo business district. And of course, a lot of businesses will be disrupted there. Are we talking about all sort of motorists who will not be able to access, or will buses at least they'll be able to access? Because the Gautrain bus, as well as the Metro bus, and to an extent some of the Rea Vaya stops are along some of those key roads.
With the routes, when the convoys or the operations are moving, then the roads, as I did mention, will be completely closed off for the movement of any road user. That's either pedestrian, cyclist or motorist, as you did mention with the buses, and that will be limited. But to reassure our residents and commuters and motorists as well, that the roads will soon be reopened once the convoys move past the affected routes, but they should expect between 30 minutes to 1 hour delays in some of the areas.
Okay, so they're being closed at specific times of the day, not across the span of the day.
Yes, that's correct. At specific times of the day, and especially heading towards the Leader Summit on the 22nd and on the 23rd, it'll be mostly in the morning between 7:30 and 10 o'clock.
Okay, so 7:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning. Am I understanding that correct? And of course, when they leave the summit, presumably could be coming to an end at, say, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, those heads of state and their delegations would be making their way back to their respective residencies, particularly hotels in those areas. Will it then be closed at peak time afternoon as well?
That's correct. It will also be closed at a peak time as well. But within those times, we're not expecting to have that much of significant disruptions as we are going to be seeing in the morning, because movement of vehicles will be not too much on our roads.
Okay. What concessions are being made for emergency services?
Of course, emergency services and essential services will be prioritized. So if it does come to a point where these vehicles or emergency services personnel need to pass through our routes, we'll definitely prioritize their movement and make sure that they do pass any type of road closure.
Okay, let's then talk about security measures. Road closures are one thing, security measures are another. Police visibility, we understand that a great deal of the attention of security services, particularly Johannesburg Metro Police, will be on ensuring the movement and flow of traffic. But they also have a security role that the city of Johannesburg plays. Will it be diverted away from patrolling in high crime areas?
It won't be diverted away from any hotspots that we do have in the city of Johannesburg. Unfortunately, with the magnitude of this event that we are going to be seeing, it's not only the JMPD who will be responsible for either traffic management or security purposes. It's a joint coordinated effort with the South African Police Services leading. We've got the Xolani Metro Police as well, Xolani Metro Police, and the Road Traffic Management and Heightened Traffic Police who will be assisting in that part. And of course, with other units within the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, we'll be looking in crime prevention methods and ensuring that the routes are secure, but also other areas within the city of Johannesburg is secure as well.
Are these specialized crime prevention methods and operations?
Some are specialized, but as I did mention that they are being led by the South African Police Services, but with the JMPD, we will continue with our day-to-day crime prevention efforts.
Yeah. Does this require the Johannesburg Metro Police Department to make more resources available, that is to say human capital resources, as well as, of course, other physical resources?
Definitely that had to be looked into. As I did mention, with the magnitude of this event, then we are going to need a lot of boots on the ground, and that's why we had to ensure that we do tap into other manpower who won't be necessarily be on duty on the day, so those will be on duty, and those who are continuing with the day-to-day duties will then focus.
So what does that look like? Asking
Pardon?
Reservists of any sort to come to the service and assist?
Not necessarily. As JMPD, we don't have reservists. We have officers, but those who are necessarily not on duty on the day will then be called in to assist. We have close to and was probably over 300 officers specifically from the JMPD who will be assisting on the G20 operations, but then we'll have our day-to-day operations continuing, making sure that essential services are still prioritized in the city of Johannesburg, whether it's a non-life-threatening or life-threatening emergencies or even traffic management purposes.
Now, just lastly, Xolani, we know that various civil society organizations as well as vigilante groups like Dudula, Operation Dudula, have said that they are going to be protesting across the span of the week, starting tomorrow, in fact, with what they call a shutdown, of course, with the aim to make it near impossible for the G20 to happen so that, that they can be listened to. What specialized plans have been made around protests that could potentially be taking place this week? And how many protest permits has the City of Johannesburg's Metro Police Department issued this week, for this week?
With the permits, we're still consolidating the number. We have received a couple of notices for planned pickets around the city of Johannesburg, and particularly in the area around the Nasrec Expo Center and in the Sandton area. But we're also on the lookout for any unplanned protest action. And for us, it's important that we do mitigate so that it doesn't affect our residents, but also importantly that it also doesn't affect the Leader Summit happening at the Expo Center.
Typically, the approval of permits when a notice is received is the sole prerogative of the Metro Police Department to determine whether they'll allow for a protest to happen or not. And of course, the decision must always be in the public interest. That is the guiding statutory framework on that. But is there any sort of input that will be taken from a state security agency, the South African Police Service, perhaps even NetJoint, in the consideration of these picket notices?
Definitely, as this is a global event, steps have been taken from national level to provincial and also on the local level. And of course, with the notices that have been issued by any of these organizations, they have to go through the local municipality at first, but in coordination with the South African Police Services, where we then look into the aspects of these planned protests, and then whatever information that we do have, then it is escalated to a provincial and a national and the NAT joints as well, so that we do look into it properly. And if then there is any contingency measures that need to be put in, not only as a local authority, but also on provincial and national level, then those are put in so that we are assisted.
And for tomorrow's shutdown by Operation Dudula, has a permit been issued for that?
We have received a notice for a picket on the 22nd. That's it has been stated that it will be at the Sasol Garage on Rancho and Nazareth Road, not too far from the Expo Center. So that has been looked into. But as I did mention, that any other unplanned protests, we're definitely keeping an eye out and ear on the ground, so that we do send in members to firstly assist the residents and also any protesters of any roads that will be affected, and also divert them to speakers' corners that have been identified in the areas that will be affected. That's either in the Nazareth area or in Sandton as well.
Yeah. Xolani, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Xolani Fihla is the spokesperson for the Johannesburg Metro Police Department.